everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with me director of a new movie that's right now streaming on Scareplex as well as Reveal, and it is a found footage movie called Lights Over Montgomery County. I have Mr. Dustin Tamplin with us today. Dustin, welcome to the Horror Room, my friend.
Hey, Travis, thanks for having me.
No problem. So tell us a little bit about Lights Over Montgomery County.
So, Lights Over Montgomery County is it's kind of a throwback to the old late 80s, early 90s special TV broadcasts like Fact or Fiction, Beyond Belief, Alien Autopsy, things like that. It was heavily inspired by Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County, which is the remake of the McPherson tape. That was probably the number one influence on the movie. And I did a few interesting things in there to kind of change up what you typically see in not only found footage but alien found footage. I used a lot of different camera tricks and camera angles to put my own little unique spin on it. I'm a huge fan of those old public access station broadcast shows, so I really wanted to pay tribute to that, and so. Lights Over Montgomery County is that, but with a pretty dark backstory. It was a special aired broadcast one time during the pandemic, and the network decided to pull it. And then now the broadcast was recorded by somebody, and it's now being kind of black marketed everywhere, illegally distributed through conventions, DVDs, VHS tapes are just kind of laying in alleys, whatever. So finding it on the dark web, just being illegally distributed everywhere. The movie it's the footage from the show.
And I understand you've done this. You actually made this movie on probably no budget at all.
Yeah, not much at all. Significantly less than $500.
Wow.
Yeah, not much of any kind of budget. I had a lot of stuff laying around my house, to make practical effects out of. Like I had some old Halloween skeleton laying around, so I put some spray foam in it and some plastic shrink wrap and a heat gun to kind of mimic the flesh melting, and some fake blood, and that was a cool practical effect I made. And that literally cost me probably $8 for the spray foam, and then the plastic drop cloth I got at the dollar store. So yeah, it was pretty inexpensive to make it.
I love talking to filmmakers who make movies with no budget, and I love to hear their process. And it's like, I'm not saying that anyone can do it, but money is not always important. If you have a good story, if you have a good direction, you can kind of make a good piece of work with no budget at all.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't really take a lot of, like you said, if you have a good story lined up, which I think I did. I was working on that story for quite a while. And yeah, you can do it with, if you have a decent phone, you can use the camera from your phone, which I used for quite a bit of the movie. I used another, just kind of a cheaper little digital camera from Amazon, and a couple different cameras. I had a Ring doorbell camera, already on my house, so I used that. I used a couple of different kinds of cameras that I already had. So again, that was more that I just didn't need to spend on on equipment, because I already had these things handy.
And I'm a huge found footage guy, as everybody probably know. Now, and I've heard some filmmakers say that, found footage are the best way. If you have no budget, found footage is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, for me it is, for sure, because I, kind of like a lot of the other filmmakers, like the Horror Dads and Ash Hamilton, some of these other guys that I've met along the way that really helped me out tremendously. They we're all working folks, we all have full-time jobs. We're all dads, so it's it's pretty it's it's pretty beneficial to have the found footage category available to kind of get into. Is it cheaper? Definitely. Is it easier? I don't know that it's any easier, but it's definitely, you can do it for next to nothing for sure, because found footage is kind of, that's exactly what it's supposed to be, right? Is you found something that somebody had recorded at some point in time in their life. So to be able to walk around with a phone or just a cheap camera and, record some creepy stuff with a decent backstory, yeah, you can have a successful found footage film with very little budget, if no budget.
I agree, and there's something about that gritty look, especially with indie found footage movies, that almost makes it a little disturbing. It almost gives you that, oh, this is not right. Something about this is real, and and that's something I love about it. I mean, even going back to the original Blair Witch, it just gave that disturbing feel. Like, this is real. This is gritty. This is amateur. This is, I mean, I love it. Now, did you get any inspiration from the Blair Witch or any other found footage?
I think Blair Witch inspired a ton of found footage films. So yeah, of course, I drew a little bit of inspiration from that. Um, Only now, not necessarily from the movie, but from their marketing. That's where I drew most of my inspiration from, because I told this on another podcast that back in the 90s when that movie came out, I remember driving around delivering pizzas and just kind of doing my thing and hearing advertisements on the radio for that movie. This was pre social media, internet wasn't anywhere near the caliber of what it is today, so it was like a lot of marketing for films and things was, you saw it on TV or you heard it on the radio. And the Blair Witch, I mean, say what you want about the marketing was genius. The way they marketed that thing, I want to say they even put out like newspaper articles, but don't quote me on that because I can't be certain on that. But I know for a fact they had some very compelling radio advertisements that were just flat out terrifying, and that's kind of what I wanted to pull out of that is when I marketed Lights Over Montgomery County. I wanted to market it kind of in that way. Now, a lot of folks knew what I was doing. They knew it was me because I didn't try to hide it. I posted things on Facebook and social media under my own profile, which, it probably, thinking back on it, it probably would have been cooler to make a fake account or have somebody else post things on my behalf or something. And I did think about that, but I was like, nah, maybe sometime in the future, but this one I'm just going to have fun with it and just see where it goes. So it was fun to market it as something you're not supposed to be watching, because like you mentioned about the gritty feeling to it, that was one main thing I wanted in this movie, is I wanted it to be gritty, dirty, and just raw feeling. Like the main vibe is you're not supposed to be watching this. And that's kind of the backstory behind the main plot of the movie, because there's the plot of the movie, but then there's also the backstory of it showed once during the pandemic and the network scrapped it. So now there's all these illegal copies. So there's a purposeful reason why when you're watching Lights Over Montgomery County, there's bad quality to it. It's a fuzzy, grainy image because it's supposed to be a bootleg copy of a recording of a copy. It's something that's been passed around. So it's been kind of misinterpreted as like an older style film overlay, and that wasn't my intention to make it look older, because there's a QR code in, and I'm perfectly aware QR codes haven't been around for a long time, and I only tell that story. I told it one other time too, but it's so interesting. I got kind of chewed out by somebody one time because he's like, well, they didn't have QR codes back then, so you shouldn't put that in there and whatnot. And it's like, it's not supposed to take place way back in the past. Like, the movie is pretty much present day within a couple of years. Like I said, like within the pandemic, it's just the overlay that was used, which wasn't my idea either. Actually, that was Josh Brucker from the Horror Dads. He's like, I think this would be a cool little addition, and he showed me, and I'm like, yep, that's beautiful. So that was purposeful doing that.
And it's amazing. So something you brought up, you work with the guys from Horror Dads. I've interviewed Josh and Dylan as well as Ash. So they make some great found footage indie horror movies.
Mhm.
Actually did my top 5 indie horror movies of 2023 so far, and Ghost by Dylan Brown was number 4, number 5. I actually love that movie. You actually had Michael Rock actually in your movie as well.
I did. I had actually all 4 of the Horror Dads in my movie. So yeah, Michael Rock was Rick Davis, the host of Textraterrestrial. That's the show that aired. Dylan Brown did a little cameo. Hunter Nino did a cameo, and Josh Brucker actually did a cameo at the very beginning of the film. So yeah, those guys helped me out a ton along the way. And while I'm not a horror dad myself, those guys have started a Horror Dads Presents kind of thing that they want to get going, and I'm proud to be the first film under that umbrella. Dylan had mentioned it to me. He's like, "Yeah, we're going to start this Horror Dads Presents thing, and we think Lights has some potential, and we'd like to put our name on it if you're cool with it." And I'm like, am I cool with it? Hell yeah, I'm cool with it. Like, you guys have some rock solid, freaking awesome movies. Of course, I'd love to have Horror Dads Presents splattered all across the front of this thing.
And your movie right now is streaming on Scareplex, which I actually love. Scareplex is actually killing it on Scareplex. It's number 1 right now. And let's talk about Scareplex. So I interviewed Ash and the guys over there when they made their announcement. First time I got the exclusive interview.
Mhm.
Isn't it amazing to have a streaming service that's created by filmmakers for filmmakers?
It is. It really is. So when Ash first told me that they were doing that, I was like, this is going to change the game, because not only does it solve a big problem that, us little indie filmmakers have as far as distribution, it solves that dilemma because while it's not worldwide distribution, it's a streaming service, and it's a very inexpensive streaming service, and the content that they have on there is phenomenal for horror fans that want things that are a little harder to find. Like they've got the old series Monsters on there. They've got what is it, Carnival of Souls. They've got all this content that is a little harder to find on some of the bigger mainstream services. And for the price he's offering at $1.95 for a monthly subscription, I mean, that's literally unbeatable. So yeah, and when Ash approached me and was like, "Hey, we're going to be starting this up. How would you like to throw your movie on there?" And again, kind of like with the Horror Dads Presents thing, it's like, are you kidding me? Of course. And
Yeah.
another first, he was like, "Well, how about let's do it as the first Scareplex original?" I'm like, "What? What did I do to deserve all this?" Like, okay, sure, let's do that. So, yeah, man, it was just a huge compliment, to not only have the Horror Dads want to put their name on my stuff, but then to have Ash say, we want to put it on Scareplex and also make it the first Scareplex original. And now I kind of feel like I'm I'm filling in the big shoes, like, because to me it felt like I was like, wow, that's pretty huge. Like Holes in the Sky is the most awarded found footage film ever, even over Blair Witch, and to have Ash say we want your movie on our streaming service was a huge compliment. And now I kind of, with the movie being number 1 on there now, I kind of feel like, okay, I think I made the right choice.
Yes, 100%. Now, what are you going to do next, or your next project? I don't know if you're working on a project, but what's one thing that you've taken from finishing and making Lights over Montgomery County that you're like, I did that well. I'm definitely going to carry that over to my next project. What's that one big thing?
the one big thing is probably patience. I am a serious, gung ho type of guy. I do not like to remain idle, and Lights Over Montgomery County is kind of a reflection of that because it's actually my second film. My first one was The Spoken, and it's on POV horror, and it's not great. I've mentioned that before. It's not a great film. It's my first film. Super proud of it. I'm very happy I did it. Kind of the same scenario. Cost me very little to make it. I wrote it, directed it, starred in it, did all of that, edited it, all of that. And I just I jumped right into Lights Over Montgomery County, like while I was working on it. Actually, I was finishing writing Lights Over Montgomery County. I was looking for actors for Lights Over Montgomery County, so I was doing kind of two things at once. And now with Lights Over Montgomery County kind of being, it's growing in popularity, right? Like, I'm not going to say it's blowing up because it certainly is not, but it's gaining popularity, and I'm super happy about that. So I want to take the patience that I learned, that I got from that, and just kind of work on. I want to get better with each project, right? I don't want to just put out something, every 3 to 6 months and say, here's something new, and just have it be kind of the same trash every time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a little bit more time on the next project because I do have something. I actually have two bigger things coming up that I want to work on, but the next big one is going to be a series, kind of an anthology. Yeah, I've got 3 other directors on board right now to do episodes. Sorry, someone's opening my little door back there. That's my kid. Hi. uh, the joys of live podcasting.
Yes, I know, right?
He's actually in the movie. He's the alien and the AI kid in the movie. So
nice.
Yeah.
So, how was it having your son? And was it easy? Did he follow directions? And
yeah, it really was. Because at first he was all in. He's like, heck yeah, I want to be in your movie. And by the end of it, he's like, Dad, I hate you. This is the stupidest. He did not want to do it anymore. The last few scenes, he did not want to put that mask on. He's like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, please, dude, like, we're almost done. So he's a trooper. He really stuck it out and did a fantastic job.
all right, off the wall, crazy question: do you believe in aliens?
Yes, I do. I have for as long as I can remember.
On what links do you think, like, they're walking amongst us, or they haven't come yet, or
So I don't really know that they're walking amongst us. I mean, maybe, but I do think that there's a lot of really great theories going on out there because we only know what we know as far back as we know it, right?
Mhm.
We can go back to the Bible, and science can tell us certain things. There's carbon dating, there's fossils, there's all sorts of things that we can technically, quote unquote, prove as far as how long Earth has been around. But there's a lot of things that I don't feel that maybe we don't have an explanation for, and that's there's a lot of the there's a lot of things laying around Earth that make you kind of question things, like Stonehenge, the pyramids. There's a lot of things that are like, there once was a civilization here before us, and yeah, we know a lot about it. Science and things has proven a lot of, ancient civilizations, but can we really prove exactly how a lot of that, got started? And who's to say that we're the first to get as far as we have, with all the technology we have nowadays? Like, you and I are talking in different states at the same time through video, and and it's instant.
And this is
Who's
something, and this is something 15, 20 years ago would be like, huh? No way. There's no way it happened.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember, because my cousin and I were like brothers when I was a kid, and him and I would call each other up every weekend, and I just remember thinking this would be so cool if you could see the person that you were talking to on the phone, on a corded phone, by the way, that had a 95-foot long cord into the kitchen, you know, like how cool would that be? And now here we are doing this. So who's to say that this didn't already happen a million years ago?
Who's to say this is I'm gonna bounce on what you're saying, but who says that this technology we're using right now is not alien technology?
Right, right.
I say it all the time. I've come across a lot of people, who have PhDs, doctorates. I have never ever came across someone who's smart enough to create this.
Right.
I haven't came across no one who is a genius, who is that intelligent. Like, you know what? I'm gonna have two people from two different parts of the country, world, whatever, talk to each other and see each other. I have never met anybody who's that smart.
No, me neither. They're out there, but I haven't met them.
I haven't met them. So, like, who is that intelligent?
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I agree. I've been all in on aliens, like I said, since as far back as I can remember. And as a teenager, I really got into the phenomenon. And then, movies like Fire in the Sky came out, and the McPherson tape, and Incident in Lake County was the first found footage style that I remember watching. And it was terrifying to me, because it's the way that it was presented was, you were watching something that really happened to a real family. Like, this is footage from this incident that happened on Thanksgiving to this family, and it's real. And I believed it at the time. And it's kind of like knowing the secret to a magic trick. It's like, it's cool until you find out what's behind the curtain, which I still love the movie, but now it's like, well, now I know it's a movie. I kind of wish you could just hold on to that, not knowing.
I just feel like the only people who actually know are, the president of the United States and vice president and so forth. And once you get into that position, you can't tell no one. So, like, it's like,
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree, man.
yeah. I wish. I would like to know. Most people said they wouldn't want to know. I would like to know.
I think I agree. I would like to know. I think there's a lot of people that aren't ready to know, but I think that there's also a lot of people that are. There's the world has gotten to be such a strange place just within the last few years. Post COVID, things have gotten so strange. People having to be locked up in their house, work from home, do everything from home, and have everything at an instant. Like, movie theaters are now kind of dying because of instant premiere streaming stuff, which of course us indie guys love it, because that's kind of the only way we're getting a lot of our stuff seen. There's some that have been pretty successful in having theatrical releases. Robbie Banfish with the Outwaters, and Kyle Edward Ball's Skinamarink, things like that. But where I was going with that is, the world is such a strange place. Like, if the president or somebody were to come on TV right now and say, okay, this is the truth, here it is. You're going to have side A that's going to say, okay, great, that's cool. We kind of knew all along. We've been waiting on you to say that, so cool. And then you're going to have side B that's like, nah, BS, I don't believe it. And then you're going to have side C over here now, which is the new generation, I think, that aren't quite ready for it. They're going to be like the folks trying to take selfies with buffalo in Yellowstone. They're gonna be out there trying to get abducted, and I think that's probably why they don't just come out and say it, because unfortunately you have people like that are gonna kind of ruin it for everybody.
Like, for instance, I definitely think Elon Musk is a alien. I really do.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a human being. He doesn't act like a human being. Like, he really does. He looks like something odd. Like, I'm not saying that, but he doesn't look. I've never seen a human being look like him, or or act like him, or to be as intelligent as him. I've never seen a human being operate or look that way.
Mm-hmm. No, he's different for sure, and hearing him speak is kind of different as well, because you're right. He's super intelligent, and the guy does so many things. I mean, he started Tesla. He has a tunnel boring, side business. I mean, He
Like
does.
a rocket flying up, going to space. No,
He makes rockets. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty alien sounding to me.
yeah. He seems like an alien who's trying to pretend to be human.
And doing a pretty lackluster job at that because people kind of figured him out.
And he has like 15 kids or something ridiculous. Like he has a whole bunch of kids by a whole bunch of different women.
He
But
does.
but somebody was trying to compare that to Nick Cannon, saying, "Oh, Nick Cannon has all these." What said? Well, Elon Musk. I'm like, Elon Musk is worth $200 billion. Elon Musk could have 100 kids and he can afford them. You know, like there's a difference to being worth $200 billion and like $10 million. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. There's a huge difference, and you know, Nick Cannon, he just has a lot of kids. I have a lot of kids. I have five, so I have a lot of kids myself. Nick Cannon just he likes having kids. Elon Musk, yeah, yeah. Elon Musk, like he has a purpose behind it. Like he said that he like wants to repopulate the Earth. Like, that's a little creepy, dude.
He's building his own. He's building his own army that looks like him.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, all right, all right. Dustin, I'm going to shoot two hard questions for you real quick.
Okay.
All right. What is your favorite horror movie of the last 5 years? Could be indie or mainstream.
Ooh, favorite in the last 5 years. Man, that's a tough one because there have been a lot of bangers in the last 5 years. But I'm gonna have to say I'm probably gonna have to go with the Outwaters. I think that's within the last 5 years. If 5 years is all I got, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Outwaters.
I'm writing that one down now. Okay. Second question. If you could cast any iconic horror actor or actress in one of your movies, who would it be?
Any iconic horror actor or actress? I think it would be really cool to work with the original Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, I think because she just seems like a really cool lady. On top of being a phenomenal horror actress and just actress in general, I think that she would just be really cool to work with, and I think that she would just be down for just about anything. Throw all the fake blood and guts on her you want, turn her into a monster, a zombie. What I think she would just be like, "Yep, let's do it." So yeah, I think Jamie Lee Curtis would be a lot of fun.
I agree. That would be mine if I was able to make a movie. Either her or Bruce Campbell, one of those two.
Ooh, that's a good one too. Yeah,
Bruce Campbell's a good one.
yeah, that's a good one too. There's a lot of good ones. It's hard to just kind of throw something out there, but yeah.
But Jamie Lee Curtis, I agree, is the go-to. 1% a go-to. All right, I'm gonna ask you one last question.
Okay.
All right, a big budget movie company comes with you and says, Dustin, we need for you to revive the Halloween series. Here's your budget, whatever you need. How are you going to bring life back to the Halloween series?
The Halloween series. So out of the big three, you had to pick my least favorite, but that's okay.
all right.
I love the Halloween series.
A harder one. I'll give you a hard one. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre series.
Oh my goodness. Okay. See, I think Texas Chainsaw would probably be easier to bring back, even though they've remade it a billion times now. So okay, so if they gave me multi-millions of dollars and said, "We want you to make this," how am I bringing it back to life? Number one, I'm doing it found footage. I'm getting away. Yeah, I'm getting away from the traditional shot because I love found footage so much. It's my favorite genre. I can't say it always has been because I was into Nightmare on Elm Street and Creep Show, things like that as a kid. Pre found footage. But yeah, I would remake Texas Chainsaw as a found footage for sure.
Now, will you take it back to the 1970s, or are you going to do present day?
I think it would be cool to go back to the original time because cameras existed back then, so it wouldn't be hard to pull off found footage at all. The hardest part, I mean, with any found footage, the hardest part, especially having it take, if I were to have it take place during the original time frame, would be finding a reason to have a camera keep going, because back then the cameras were this big.
And
So nobody's running around still carrying the thing. I don't care how traumatized they are. So that's going to be a little difficult to pull off as found footage. But you could do it. You could have it drop, over here. It would be difficult, but I think with a huge multi-million-dollar budget, it could probably be done.
yes, yes. And I don't think most people, if it's good enough, would even question. Well, they're running around with that big ass camera the whole time.
Yeah. It'd be hard to pull off, but I think it could be.
I thought you were going to say like in the 80s. Because even in the 80s, they had the big ass camcorders. But you could run around with those, with the VHSs.
Yeah, you could run around with those, because that's the one thing is, number one, yes, you have to find a reason why the camera's still rolling, but a lot of found footage have kind of proven, like, when people are under that great amount of stress and trauma, you're not thinking clearly. So you could be running around with a camera and not knowing it, because you're like, I got to get the hell away from whatever this is that's chasing me. And you're still carrying this thing, you're not thinking about it. So present day technology, especially, that's pretty easy because we have the GoPros and I mean, there's cameras this big, there's cameras in buttons, so it's super easy these days. But yeah, for doing something that long ago, yeah, that would be extremely difficult to find a reason why someone's running around carrying a 50-pound camera.
While a maniac with a chainsaw is chasing them.
Yeah, well, the leather face with a chainsaws after you, like that. That's the first thing I'm doing, is throwing that camera.
And hopefully knocking him out with it.
At Leatherface. That's where I'm throwing it. It's at Leatherface.
Dustin, where can everyone find you, my friend?
They can find me just about anywhere. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and those are all just under my name, Dustin Tamplin. Instagram actually is Hot Death Horror. That's my production company, also my podcast name. And then I'm on TikTok as Hot Death Horror 1. I'm on what X. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X. I'm on there. I'm on just about all of them. I don't have Snapchat or anything like that, but Facebook and Instagram are the two main ones that I'm on. But I do get on X and TikTok from time to time as well. And I do have like I said, a podcast which is available. It's on Scareplex. It's on YouTube, and it's also on Spotify, Apple, Castbox, iHeart. It's on all the major streaming, podcast streaming things. And I do have hotdeathhorror.com, which is my website where you can now purchase Lights Over Montgomery County on DVD. Hopefully Blu-ray is coming soon. And then as well as merch, shirts, hats, stuff like that. You can get that on hotdeathhorror.com as well.
Awesome. Listen, everybody, follow my man Dustin. Go on the Scareplex. It's $1.99 a month. You can't fucking beat it. You can't.
No, can't do it.
You can't. You really can't. I mean, Netflix is like $20 or something now. Like,
yeah, crazy.
Yeah. $1.99. You can't beat it if you're a horror fan.
Nope.
Go over there and check out Lights Over Montgomery County. Dustin, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. You're more than welcome to come on anytime.
I appreciate you, man. I really do. It's been a blast. I appreciate you wanting to have me on.
Most definitely, man. If you ever want me to come on your podcast, let me know, man.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm always wanting to have some guests on there and nerd out with, over some horror. So let's do it.
We can talk about found footage. So we can talk about found footage Friday the 13th. Found footage, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street. That's my jam. That's out of the big three. That's my number one right there. Is Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, Freddy found footage all day.
We can do found footage for all of them, man, if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure, man. Hit me up anytime, and yeah, I'm down for coming on your podcast.
Awesome. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we'll get that locked in for sure. And thanks again. This was a lot of fun.
No problem, buddy. Well, everyone, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.